Welcome to the Multi-Orgasmic Mama podcast, where sexy motherhood taboos are broken. I'm Tilly Storm, holistic sex and jade egg coach and tantric sex teacher, all-around pleasure and prosperity advocate, and mama of two. If you are looking to get the spark back in your sex life and relationship, if you'd like to revive desire and feel sexy again without hormones, years of therapy, or trying things that don't feel authentic in the bedroom, then download my free Ignite Your Desire e-guide at www.tillystorm.com/e-guide. This episode is brought to you by the Sensually Embodied Woman Collective. If you're ready to remove all your blocks to pleasure, turn on and feeling confident and sexy in your body through my paid programs and offerings, then head to www.tillystorm.com today. What is Tantric Sex and who is it for? The ultimate question of the decade. From the words of Osho in the introduction in the book, Tantra, the Supreme Understanding, he says, Tantra trusts in your body. Tantra trusts in your senses. Tantra trusts in your energy. Tantra trusts in you. Tantra does not deny anything, but transforms everything. How to attain this tantric vision? This is the map to turn you on and to turn you in and to turn you beyond. The first thing is the body. The body is your base. It is your ground. It is where you are grounded. To make you antagonistic towards the body is to destroy you, is to make you schizophrenic, is to make you miserable, is to create hell. You are the body. Of course, you are more than the body, but that more will follow later on. First, you are the body. The body is your basic truth. So never be against the body. Whenever you are against the body, you are going against God. Whenever you are disrespectful to your body, you are losing contact with reality, because your body is your contact. Your body is your bridge. Your body is your temple. Tantra teaches reverence for the body, love, respect for the body, gratitude for the body. The body is marvelous. It is the greatest of mysteries. Tantra teaches you to reclaim respect for the body, love for the body. It teaches you to look at the body as the greatest creation of God. Tantra is the religion of the body. Of course, it goes higher, but it never leaves it. It is grounded there. It is the only religion which is really grounded in the earth. It has roots. Other religions are uprooted trees, dead, dull, dying. The juice doesn't flow in them. Tantra is really juicy, very alive. The first thing is to learn respect for the body, to unlearn all the nonsense that has been taught to you about it. Otherwise, you will never turn on, and you will never turn in, and you will never turn beyond. Start from the beginning. The body is the beginning. I love this passage so much, because I just don't know anyone else who could put to words something so indescribable except, Osho himself. So let's talk about Tantric Sex, Hot Mamas. What is it and who is it for? How do I learn Tantric Sex? Well, first, let's start with making the distinction between Tantra and Tantric Sex. There's a very big difference. Tantra is a spiritual tradition that really has little to do with sexuality, but it also doesn't deny someone's sexuality on the path to enlightenment. It's very much about spirituality, meditating your way to enlightenment. But Tantric Sex has more to do with sexuality and helping people to experience a truly liberated and free sexuality. It really helps them to be able to change their relationship with their bodies. And there's so many different teachings and people that want to, say Tantric Sex isn't Tantra at all and blah, 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 this and that. But what I don't understand is that people aren't seeing how amazing it is for some people who have experienced such negative conditioning and trauma around their bodies and sexualities to learn tantric sex practices, because it liberates them from all of the shame and the guilt that they had growing up. This was me. So tantric sex, it might not have much spirituality in it, but it can awaken you to deeper spiritual truths. What Tantric sex is not is that it is not weird sex positions. It isn't the Kama Sutra. The Tantric tradition, it's very deep and rich and complex, and it can be very confusing because you have the historic spiritual path with so many different sects and branches, and then you have what most Americans or Westerners view as Tantra, which is actually what we call Neo-Tantra. So you have classical Tantra and you have Neo-Tantra. Classical being the spiritual tradition and Neo-Tantra being the Tantric sex practices. So when we talk about Tantric sex and Neo-Tantra, we're really talking about what was founded by Osho himself. And this way we can pretty much interchange the words Tantric sex with Neo-Tantra because they basically mean the same thing. And even though classical Tantra, the spiritual tradition, it didn't have much to do with sexuality, learning Tantric sex or Neo-Tantra can be so valuable for particular couples wanting to experience the more to sexuality or to feel a deeper spiritual connection to their sexuality and to each other. And even if you don't consider yourself a spiritual person, you don't need to be spiritual to learn Tantric sex. You don't have to, be like all into the spiritual sacred sexuality side of it to learn Tantric sex and for it to be valuable for you. For some people, learning Tantric sex can actually open them up to spiritual aspects that they were not available for, or spiritual awakenings to deeper truths that they were not available for before learning Tantric sex, because Tantric sex has a way of liberating people out of their day-to-day lives, out of the very low vibration, ho-hum. I have all of these things to do. I have a business to run. I have a career. I have kids to take care of, kind of, earthly plane existence. So learning Tantric sex, even if you're not a spiritual person, has a way of elevating and lifting you out of your day-to-day life. And people think that Tantra, classical Tantra mainly, that is for people who, have all the time in the world to sit and meditate all day, that are deeply, deeply spiritual. And that's not the truth about it at all. Tantra is actually for everyday people, for moms, for people with busy lives and careers, for people that, are just normal, regular people going about their day-to-day life, because it's a way and it's a path to take you out of the ordinary and make it extraordinary. And not only is it awesome for just everyday people to learn tantric sexuality and classical tantra, if that's what you want to do, but I see so many couples who destroy or ruin really great relationships, or maybe they're in a relationship and they just suffer in silence for years or decades, never really feeling sexually satiated or satisfied, because the person who gets turned on by connection, energy, intimacy, they don't know how to express their sexual needs and what really feeds them sexually to their partner. And they don't know how to make them understand that they aren't sexually fed in the way that their partner is. So let me just give you an example. All right, if you are a person who gets turned on by deep emotional intimacy and connection, you really, you're an empath, right? You feel someone's energy, and maybe in a sexual situation, you get really turned on when your partner is turned on. You probably like light hovering touches. You love longing and waiting and really thinking and like savoring in that, oh my gosh, I get to have this incredible experience with this person. You love the anticipation of it. You love eye-to-eye contact and breathing together. Maybe you even like feathers gliding over your skin and playing with polarity, with masculine and feminine, deep surrender, and being the one to dominate, right? And say you're that person, but your partner is like totally doesn't get it. Okay. Your partner might be turned on by more kinky things, by taboo things, They might be turned on by more erotic visual stimulation, like seeing you naked. They are all about the orgasm. They're all about intercourse and penetration, and they want to have sex a lot. Okay. So maybe you're in a relationship where your partner is turned on by things that you're like, okay, well, maybe sometimes, but that's not what really gets it for me. That's not what really does it. This is the type of couple that I know that learning tantric sex is so valuable for. So if this is you, then it's very, very likely that the two of you have struggled sexually getting your needs met. Say you're the female partner and you're the one that really feels the energy and really is craving more emotional intimacy and connection, but your partner just wants sex all the time. They want penetration. It's all about the orgasm. Well, because the things that turn you on are different than the things that turn your partner on, and you're just not speaking the same sexual language of turn on to each other. And honestly, both of you aren't getting your needs met. Or maybe you have experienced a lot of negative religious conditioning around sexuality, and you both want to experience your body and sexuality as something that's not separate from you anymore, or to experience sexuality and the body as something good. Maybe not even holy or sacred, but like if you're at the point where, man, I just want it to feel good and not feel guilty, right? This can be, learning tantric sex can be such a valuable tool for you. So whatever the case is, tantric sex, as Osho says, remember, is the religion of the body. It teaches you to bust through all of your blocks around your body and your sexuality, to bust through intimacy and vulnerability blocks, and to connect at the deepest level, not only with yourself, but with your partner, to discover your truth about the world. Learning tantric sex is about embracing awkwardness. It's about getting really uncomfortable with your partner and seeing each other in a new way. It's about breaking through every cage you have kept yourself in, because you are afraid to be fully sexually expressed, and you are afraid to be fully self-expressed in your life in general. Tantric sex is about up-leveling your life and your relationship in a very massive way, because you are learning how to elevate on a day-to-day level. You are learning how to elevate your everyday experiences, your connection to pleasure on the day-to-day, not sexual pleasure, but just like finding the bliss and the ecstasy in playing a card game with your kids, finding the bliss and ecstasy and going out by the pool and staring at the beautiful blue water, or the ocean if you live by the ocean, or going out and gardening with your plants and like really just savoring this delicious, lust-filled, like life-giving energy as you're like touching the plants and digging your hands in the soil. It is about experiencing a richness to life that isn't easily accessible when you're in this low vibe, ho-hum, day-to-day bullshit that we call life. Okay, it's about taking you out of that and bringing you into like all five senses of life, experiencing it as if you were almost like you were on drugs, but you're not, right? It's just that you've tapped into something that most people can't tap into, or they don't know how to tap into. So it is about liberation. It's about elevation. It's about getting emotional connection and intimacy with your partner and with yourself. So you're not spending years trying to get them to understand you and then never really succeeding because you simply don't have the language to speak to them, or they don't have the tools and the techniques necessary to speak your language of turn on. Because this energetic language of turn on is not what we get taught anywhere in society, not in porn, definitely not in sex ed. You don't see it. You don't hear what people do to experience this level of intimacy and connection. But Tantra is where you learn it, Tantric sex in particular. So it's about taking that ordinary into the extraordinary, whether it's your sex life or your relationship, and experiencing everyday pleasure and ecstasy. yes, are you ready to learn, my loves? Head to www.tillystorm.com/tantra and you can apply for my Tantra for Lovers program, where you'll speak with someone on our team and to see if learning tantric sex is the answer to take your sex life and relationship to the next level. Again, this program is only for people that are currently in a relationship, and your partner needs to be on board with you learning this. So tune in next week, because next week I'm going to be talking about how to get your partner on board with learning this. So hot mamas, if you have not checked it out, again, head to tillystorm.com/tantra and go ahead and apply for that program. No hard sales. You're just going to connect with someone on the team and see how the energy flows. Lots of love, and speak to you all next week. Bye.